Well, good evening, everybody. Fantastic to have you here joining us tonight for our Venture Dorm final pitch and awards night. I'm just going to turn this music off. I don't need to hear that as well. I'll just wait for a couple of people to come in from the foyer. Well, it's an exciting night. I think there's a variety of different nerves and emotions and excitement in this room. But before we start, I first of all want to welcome you here to our city campus, Flinders City Campus. But more importantly, I want to acknowledge the lands on which we meet, the lands of the Kaurna people. And I want to pay my respect to the leaders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge the important association, commitment and longevity of the lands on which we meet and their deep connection and history with these lands. I also want to extend that acknowledgement and thank you to any Indigenous peoples joining us here this evening. Well, tonight is the final night of 8 weeks of activity that our Venture Dorm participants have been participating in. Before we start, I'm going to welcome our esteemed judges as well, who I'll introduce in just a moment. Guests of our participants, welcome to you. Mentors and colleagues, welcome to you. And all of those who have been supporters and advocates for our program, we really appreciate you being here. On our judging panel tonight, I'm excited that we have a powerhouse on our judges. Angie Shafai, who's our Dean of Business here at Flinders University. Thank you for joining us here this evening. Jane Liao, Business Development Officer with the Department of State Development. Thank you also for joining us this evening. And Joe, and you know I'm going to do this. I apologise in advance as I pronounce your surname. I do apologise. Satraveri Durant. I'm nowhere near it, am I? I decided to put a French twang to it badly, so I do apologise. But Joe, fantastic. Principal with investments, the VU Venture Partners. Fantastic to have you here. Thank you. We also have an amazing array of prizes tonight. I should actually introduce who we are. The team, and we're going, Verity, you should stick to the script. Flinders University New Venture Institute, many of you have had a long association with us. We're part of the Curriculum Impact part of Flinders University, and we're all about empowering people to think innovatively. Whatever that looks like in reality, if that looks like taking an idea through to a business, through to scaling and maybe one day selling, fantastic. If it is just to get people to think differently about the way that they do what they do and encourage different ways of approaching progress, approaching innovation, approaching problem solving, we're all about that too. We have a great service of team. The team have been amazing in pulling this event together and particularly amazing in pulling the whole Venture Dorm together, of which I will acknowledge as we get to later in the evening as I look particularly at Ellen. That was Ellen, not Alan. I'd also like to thank our 2 key facilitators of Venture Dorm, Oren Prunken and Benjamin Ellengaven, who have been integral in helping our participants in progressing their ideas. We could not put Venture Dorm on without the brilliance of these 2 in particular and all the mentors in the room who have been guiding our participants. Here's a list of people who have been guest speakers across the program as well as mentors across the program. It's not a solo activity. This is a many hands in helping and contributing to the growth of this room of innovators and entrepreneurs. I really have skipped the slides in a different way. Tonight there'll be 2 awards. We'll have a jury award and we'll also have a People's Choice Award. The jury award has a range of prizes associated with it. We thank the state government, Department of State Development in particular, for their tickets to South Start next year, which I just heard described as the Woodstock for entrepreneurs. If you haven't been to South Start in the past, I encourage you to. It is where all the entrepreneurs across South Australia and interstate come together over a couple of days. It's an amazing, inspirational experience. In addition, Megamind Creations have also providing $3,000 worth of development and tech strategy for the winners, as well as $1,000 worth of design and user experience as well, and product marketing, fantastic, supported by Guffey, so I do appreciate their support for the jury award. Oh, I missed, very important, I'm sorry, Emily. As well as the jury edition, the Human Brands have very kindly sponsored and given 2 deep dive sessions with Emily, who is a brand strategist and extraordinaire of Human Brands. This is a really amazing opportunity to extend a purpose-driven approach for our winners. And 6 months. The winners will have 6 months incubation in with us at Honsley in the NVI space. There's also a People's Choice Award. Later in the evening we'll show you a QR code that you can vote on while the judges deliberate. You have a chance to vote on your People's Choice. So please keep listening to the presentations, decide who you would like to win based on what you feel is something you'd like to get behind. And again, we'll thank the State Development, Megaminds and Human Brands for their contribution to our People's Choice Award. Tickets to South Start, $1,000 worth of design, user experience design, deep dives with Emily, and plus 6 months incubation in our space as well. So there is the prizes. They're great, and hopefully that's something exciting for our participants as they prepare to present to us this evening. Okay, we're going to move through quite quickly tonight. I don't want you to think like this is sitting in the Logies and just waiting for that gold Logie announcement. We'll move through quite quickly. Our presenters have 5 minutes to present, and there's a couple of minutes of judges' questions, and then we'll move on to our next presenter. So to start with, I'd like to introduce, please join me in welcoming Andrew Berry, Specialist Equipment Australia. He's going to be presenting to us on assisted technology and equipment to help make lives a little better. Please welcome Andrew.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Andrew Barry and I represent Specialised Equipment Australia, and I'm here to help make life a little better. I spent over 15 years in the emergency services here in SA. Whether rain, shine, day or night, I was there helping others. I spent 7 of those years training other volunteers throughout the state. This is also where I met my wife, and shortly after we had a family. However, as the kids started to get older, they started to ask where Daddy was, why he missed my birthday, and why he had to leave suddenly. It placed much stress on the family, and finally my wife and I decided I needed to focus more on my family. So I retired from the service to pursue a degree in biomedical engineering at Flinders University. Then 2 years ago I experienced a severe medical episode that had me re-evaluate once again how I did things on a day-to-day activity, as some of the tasks I did every day I could no longer do. In my pursuit of solving these problems, Specialised Equipment Australia was born. SEA, or Specialised Equipment Australia, is a company that primarily designs assistive technologies and equipment, from prototyping to one-off builds and even personalised solutions. Currently we are working on a leg brace that offers standard support and the ability to apply bidirectional variable resistance with movement to simulate walking through water. By adopting this, we aim to reduce the recovery times from knee surgeries while simultaneously encouraging recovery success. The brace's main features are the integrated hydraulic systems, which allow for precision and future expansion of capabilities, and the honeycomb tubing, which allows for a slimmer build while maintaining overall strength. Additionally, we have integrated the bearings into the base of the hydraulics, allowing us to slim down the unit profile. Adding the magnetic buckle will allow for easier fitting and removal without clips jamming or excessive force if the clip is under load. Increasing the surface area of the brace aims to reduce the device's pressure on small areas, decreasing the bruising and sore chances. Between 1999 and 2022, over 1 million surgeries were conducted in Australia, specifically knee surgeries. Of these, 3.95% of them were involved more than one surgery on the same knee. Commonly with these surgeries, the patient is then hospitalised for 1 to 4 days, then sent home with some form of walking aid and given exercises to complete. This can take 12 months to recover from. Our goal for the patient is to leave the hospital with a brace set by a physio to the recommended resistance and range of movement. This prevents accidentally exceeding the recommended range too early and causing joint failure. Adding the resistance will gently increase the muscle and ligament endurance over the recovery period. We have 3 main stages of development. The first is the initial prototype building and subsequent testing before releasing into the South Australian market and then Greater Australia. The initial target groups will be clinics with the professionals and with post-operative and recovery services. Stage 2 involves releasing the primary product into the international market, initially focusing on the larger markets. The third stage is further developing the expanding on the brace to address other areas often requiring joint surgeries and other conditions that may benefit. 3 ways in which we plan to generate revenue is through outright purchases made by those using the product regularly. Direct leasing can be for the end user, clinics, universities and other organisations that use the device for a limited time. This will allow for the brace to be serviced before leasing again. And finally, we're offering an annual service to ensure the device's material elements are still within acceptable tolerances. With SEA and our passion for helping others, the sky is no longer the limit. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Judges, any questions?
Thanks, Andrew. That was great. My first question is about competitors. Have you had a look at what competitors are out there and how do you differentiate yourself?
Yes, so I've seen a couple of local competitors, including Navita, is probably the biggest one that most people will know about. The way I'm trying to integrate more of a recovery or rehabilitation directly into the devices as opposed to Navita currently designing and developing those devices. Throws a little bit of a difference in between us, but ultimately you can't have too many people helping. That's it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Our next presenter is Bob Waihehi. Bob is presenting on the Veritas Kenya Labs and addressing inefficiencies in current agriculture supply chains. Please join me in welcoming Bob.
Hi everyone, I'm Bob. I'm actually studying in Flinders almost 20 years ago, so good to come back. Veritas Kenya Lab is a joint venture between Kenya and Veritas Tech. It's a joint venture between Australia and Japan. So our purpose is to encourage and fostering this industry academic collaboration, driving innovation and commercialization of AI and blockchain solutions. The problem we are addressing now is the digital agriculture, especially the inefficiency of the current agricultural supply chain problem. This is a huge problem for Australia. For example, there's a lack of transparency and traceability of the product origin and also the quality of the product. Also, there are challenges in regulatory compliance and interoperability. For example, the green claims, how do you claim the product is green? And also, when you export to certain markets like EU, how much carbon credit, how much carbon tax you have to apply on the product. there needs to be digital solution. So our aim is to reduce the counterfeit of the product, especially for high-value products, and also to ensure food security. This is very important for the climate resilience and also for the cross-border trading. In this case, we are looking at Australia and Japan. The solution we are proposing is the IoT solution, which can be used for digitize the transactions. It's combined with AI and blockchain, and it can be used to track the product, where it's from, how it's actually produced, where it is, and also this can be used for the cross-border efficiency because you can actually arrange these transactions to be traded for the product before the product is shipped. For example, the market is actually the digital agriculture, which is a fundamental industry to global food safety and economic stability. So it's not about money. Also, there are impact for the climate, reduce the waste, lower the cost of the transactions. The business model we are looking at is the transaction fees for each transaction for international trade, and also when you convert the physical product into the digital asset, we actually charge the token fees, and also we can have a report give you the insight. The good market is we target the markets with high agriculture output, like Australia, and also the supply chain efficiency. For example, when you export from Australia, you have to go to some ports like Singapore. We also have a negotiation with some companies in Singapore for pilot. And we want to develop partnership with government and NGO, especially South Australia. There are lots of agricultural products, and also for market outreach, organize industry events, for example. Our competitor who done the previous work, they mainly focus on the traceability themselves. But in our case, because we tokenize the product, which allow the financial solutions, well, that means that you have international trade using paperless transactions. This has actually not been done by other competitors. Our go-to-market strategy is to first to build this partnership in Australia and in Japan. We already secured partnership support from major technology companies. I'm based in Melbourne, so talking to Monash, of course, we're very keen to collaborate with us to apply for joint funding. There are opportunities in Australia and not in Japan, also in foundations in other countries. And then we go to the pilot, which is a major event in Osaka next year. Is a global expo. Osaka Expo. I'm going to Japan this week to talk about how do we actually set up examples like importing export to Osaka using the best practice. For example, the UN Transparency Protocol, which requires transparency in supply chain. And then we look at expansion and market leadership. I'm the startup founder based in Melbourne, so I'm chartered engineer, also the ambassador for Global Blockchain Business Council in Switzerland for Australia, and co-founder Ted, he's the ambassador for Japan. He's a very senior business expert and has a lot of connection in corporates. And Kenzia has been 10 years older than us. Mike started is only 3 years old. So the request is for partnership in South Australia, for example, farmers, universities, the companies who trade agricultural product to other countries, not only in Australia and Japan, but in other countries as well, especially APAC. And we are also preparing for funding opportunities from foundations. And also we actually have some interest from Japanese government and some corporates from Japan to help us. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, Bob. Thank you so much for sharing this lovely presentation. Could you tell us a little bit more about your actual, like, the tech stack?
Yes. It's actually, I went too very fast. So this actually in the middle is a tokenization. That what it means is you have a physical agriculture, for example, land. There's a land in front of you, that's physical world. Tokenization means you convert this into digital representation, like 100 tokens. So you have 1 token means 1%, those kind of things. And then you have the documents, translate them into the digital record. So we already developed the AI solutions and also the financial reporting. At the moment, we look at the tokenization, the blockchain, and IoT, because that requires integration with the farms. We have a proof of concept, but we need to, if we want to achieve scalability, we may need satellite images. that is something, yes, still a work in progress.
That's very interesting. I mean, our RWA has obviously seen like an interesting uptick in the last couple of years. So this is exciting. Thank you.
Thanks. We actually have a lot of interest from foundations in Switzerland. There are probably $1 to $2 million US dollars funding opportunity. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's grant, by the way, free money. Yeah.
I love it. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Bob.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
You join me in thanking Bob. Well done. All right, as you can already see, there is diversity in our presentations tonight, which I love seeing the diversity come through. Next up, we have Adam Shmavkov from Shmavkov, and looking at fashion with purpose. Please welcome Adam.
Thank you. So, what if I told you that my jacket was made from mushrooms and all of your outfits from seaweed? Welcome to the future of luxury fashion where innovation meets sustainability. Shmavkov is built on the idea that high-end fashion can be both cutting-edge and 100% sustainable. We're not just talking about organic cotton or recycled plastic. We're using threads made from mushroom mycelium and kelp, creating garments that are luxurious, eco-friendly, and completely revolutionary. The fashion industry is responsible for 92 million tonnes of waste each year. And fast fashion has created a cycle of overproduction, underutilization, and pollution. And it's time for a change. Enter Shmavkov, a luxury fashion line that doesn't compromise on style or sustainability. Our materials are completely futuristic, fabrics made from mushrooms, seaweed, and other plant-based innovations. These materials not only biodegrade, but they are harvested in ways that regenerate the ecosystem rather than harm them. Our garments are designed for the urban elite, the new wealth. These are the people who care about the environment, but who prioritise function and design. They don't just want to wear eco-friendly clothing. They want to be seen as innovators breaking the boundaries of what fashion could be. We take cues from designers like Rick Owens, Helmut Lang, and Heide Ackermann, who merge futuristic urban aesthetics with minimalist design. Our collection will offer sleek, innovative looks that resonate with forward-thinking, eco-conscious consumers. The market for sustainable fashion is booming, with the global industry projected to grow to $15.17 billion by 2030. Our target audience is highly specific urban professionals in tech, media, and music who are on the cutting edge of both innovation and style. These are the people who drive Teslas and who see fashion as a statement of both their values and status. I started this brand because I believe that fashion should be a part of the solution and not the problem. Growing up, I was always passionate about design and sustainability, and I saw a huge gap in the market. Luxury fashion that didn't harm the environment. And that's what drives me every day, the belief that high-end fashion can have low impact on the environment. Now, this isn't just a concept. I've been able to source innovative and sustainable materials from cutting-edge suppliers who are startups, and we soon plan to develop a batch ready for a small capsule collection by the 1st of November. The demand for sustainability is high, but there's nothing in the market right now that delivers on luxury, innovation, and eco-responsibility like we do. My brand is the future of luxury fashion, where sustainability is not just an add-on, but at the core of every design decision. We are reimagining what's possible using materials from the earth designed for the world tomorrow. I went to H&M before this presentation, and I bought 2 shirts that cost me $30. Now, imagine everybody in this room here spent $30 on 2 shirts. You might wear it 15, maybe 20 times in your life and chuck it out. That's a lot of pollution. These will be given to some homeless people at the end of this presentation when we all go home. To me, I've never understood paying for polluting the environment, and it just doesn't make sense. Thank you so much for listening.
Hi, Adam. Thank you so much. That was a very good presentation, very interesting. My first question is, I guess just curious, but what's your background and are you designing these products? And
I will not be, but we are working with people who will be able to do that.
Yep. And your supply chain, can you describe how that looks like?
Yeah, so we are working with NEFA, which is New Fashion Factory, and they're able to provide us with mycelium-based materials. which is sort of like a leather. It mimics leather without having the properties of leather. And we've got Kill Labs as well, who creates the seaweed materials.
Fantastic.
Them for the presentation. Just a question a little bit about the team and how the team would be moving forward with this.
So
size of the team. Yes.
The size of the team. Well, the size of the team is just me at the moment.
Yeah.
But I'm working with other people overseas to create chains.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Adam. Okay, next up we have Kathy Cotton from Goodnessly. And Kathy's going to be talking about comparing nutritional and environmental impacts of everyday products. Please join me in welcoming Kathy.
Unhealthy eating patterns are now the leading cause of preventable death and disease globally, including in Australia. Goodnessly is a mobile app that works like having a nutritionist in your pocket. Our app helps consumers eat healthier by scoring products and deciphering food labels and ingredients with the user's personal preferences in mind. I want to tell you a story about my why I gave up my day job and decided to focus all my efforts on this. My why is my little guy, Tommy. Tommy was diagnosed with autism at a very early age. Our experience is like so many other families. Tommy struggled with communication, behaviour, empathy, amongst other things. We tried many things, but it was when we actually focused on nutrition that we actually saw some really profound changes. He played, he laughed, we had conversations. I'll never forget one day his teacher pulled me aside and said, "What have you done with Tommy? It's like someone turned the light switch on." We had our boy back. It occurred to me then that perhaps other people may be in a similar situation. What are everyday foods doing to people's minds, people's physical bodies? What we put in our body affects our physical body and our physical health and our mental health. I know the profound impact nutrition can make on a person's life. I also know how difficult it is trying to bring home only the best nourishment for ourselves and our families from the supermarket. I would spend hours at the supermarket meticulously reading labels, looking at ingredients, Googling E-numbers and preservatives, trying to figure out what I was actually putting in the trolley. Small changes can make really big differences. However, lack of time, lack of knowledge and misguided food labels disempowers consumers. We don't have time, and if we did, we don't understand what it says anyway. At Goodnessly, we believe in everyday people being empowered over their own health and the planet's health. We believe in transparency, and we believe in the ability for humanity to thrive. Our app recommends food products based on nutrition, sustainability, including the user's own personal food preferences. People can search our app for different types of food. We then return results, scoring each product. The user can look at details of each product, including its nutritional value, its environmental impact, and we even suggest alternatives that the customer may want to consider. The user has a shopping list that they can add items to, and then they can shop, knowing that their shopping trolley has maximum nutrition, minimal environmental impact, and no hidden nasties. We estimate the market for Goodnessly to be about $9.46 billion US. Food transparency is very much a growing area, and we expect this to be about $40 billion USD in 2032. Our revenue model incorporates both B2B and B2C. Our B2Cs are the users who download the app and use the app. We will provide premium features and have a subscription-based model for them. Our B2B clients are those food producers and food retailers. And they will have opportunities to provide further information to consumers using the app. Currently, our app is live and available to download. We on the App Store and on Google Play. We have approximately 30 users and about 200 products. We are going through a brand change at the moment from Goodness Moo to Goodnessly, and we're also just days away from launching a new AI feature which will allow us to incorporate products thousands at a time. So that number, 200, will grow quite quickly. A little bit about myself. I have a bit of a tech background. I have 20 plus experience in e-commerce, including product development, user experience, project management and commercial management. And I'm weeks away from finishing a diploma in human science, focusing on naturopathy. At Goodnessly, we help lift the veil, ensuring people can make informed decisions based on real information. So today you can sign up to our newsletter at goodnessly.com, and you can download the app, Goodness Moo, and join us as we continue to innovate and make a positive impact on people's health. And maybe, just maybe, we can turn a few more light switches on. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing this, Kathy. It's very, very interesting. In terms of your B2B model, is there a take rate from retailers?
From retailers, yeah. So our B2B model is looking at food producers and food retailers. So in terms of the food producers, the page of our app, which is, oh, there we go, that one. We offer basically a standard information on every product to the consumer. What we would like to do is partner with B2B producers and get them to add information. So they may add their website, they may add a verified link, perhaps a video on the story of their product. We've already got a collaboration in the works with a local food retail outlet. Turns out that data is quite messy in this world. So we find that a lot of, particularly health food retailers, they want the data. They get asked questions about products all the time, particularly in health food shops, raw shops, things like that. So they actually want the QR codes so that people can go up and just QR the code, get all the information on the products. So there's opportunities for both the food producers, particularly with those that have a similar philosophy to ours. Those are the ones that we really want to work with.
Hi, Kathy. Thank you. I'm just curious that how would you track the impact of that you're having through the users using the app?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I'll probably start with the impact I would love to have. The impact that when I talk about this, I always say if we can change just 1% of people's trolleys, that would have a huge impact, particularly for growing minds, developing minds. Tracking the impact, I think, probably be done through analytics, through analysis. Another way that I would like to focus on really making an impact is actually working with the food producers. Once we can determine and once we have enough knowledge and evidence that people really want real food, they don't want some of these additives. Some additives that are legal in Australia are not legal overseas. So once we have some of this evidence, we can actually work with some of these food producers and try to convince them. I think once we do that, then we know that we're really having an impact.
Fantastic. Please join me in thanking Kathy. Okay, next up we have John Kitto from Census. John is going to be presenting to us about revolutionising food safety. Please join me in welcoming John.
This is exciting. Some absolutely fantastic ideas. Census is revolutionising food safety. 4.1 million Australians every year suffer food poisoning. 30,000 of them are actually hospitalised, and there are 80 to 90 deaths. Yet Australia has some of the best quality food and the strictest compliance and handling guidelines in the world. Pathogens are microorganisms like Salmonella, Listeria, E. coli and Staphylococcus exist in a lot of the foods that we eat, but they're in levels that do not harm us. In certain conditions this changes and it can cause food poisoning. So how do we know if the food we're preparing is safe? Current labelling and date stamping is not reliable. It doesn't provide enough information about the products that we're actually eating. It assumes that the product has been handled correctly and compliantly to industry standards. It's static and unable to detect changes ahead of the use-by date. Poor handling, out of the fridge for too long, all these things will affect the growth of the microorganisms which cause illness. Taking the uncertainty out of pre-packed meat products. Census is developing a thin-filled sensor which will be applied into the packaged meat product. The device will change colour, indicating when the food is no longer viable or is unsafe to eat. It's detecting when the microorganisms and the byproducts that they produce get to a level which will actually activate the sensor and advise the consumer and or the retailer that the product is no longer viable. It's food safe, biodegradable, and will take the fear and guesswork out of knowing if the food is fresh prior or after the use-by label date, because sometimes these things can be extended life if you do actually keep them compliant. Sorry. Consumers spend approximately $31 buying 3 to 4 meat or seafood products on every shop. Represents a quite staggering number, $3.6 billion of packed meat products in Australia and 1.6 are cooked meat products. Fear and uncertainty around the current labelling causes consumers to avoid short-dated items, leaving retailers to manage the unsold stock. We aim to generate revenue through the licensing of the intellectual property created in the development to key supply chain providers. And these are the people that are supplying Coles and Woolworths, etc. At Census, we believe in technology changing human behaviour, creating a new reality which will improve people's lifestyles and well-being. In this program, in our project, we're using a triple helix approach to the innovation process. It's a collaboration between academia, universities, government and industry. We're working with Dr. Cooper, from Flinders University. Dr. Cooper is a leader in biosensor technology, the application of nanotechnology and surface sciences. We're working with Shoji Sinclair from Sinclair Product Design on the application and the design of the device. And Adrian Cooper is assisting in the commercialisation, or could assist us in the commercialisation of the technology. We're also using an AI approach in the research and development, enabling us to explore allied industry achievements in sensor technology in real time. It also provides the opportunity to apply convergent technologies to create new solutions. Our initiative is supporting the federal government's National Food Waste Safety Strategy aimed at halving food waste by 2030. Food Standards Australia and New Zealand on the regulatory standards required for the packaging and labelling, and the networking opportunities that the Department of State Development provides. Our industry network extends to the leaders, such as Coles and its Nurture Fund, and some of the key packaging providers to the supermarket network. We want to take the uncertainty out of the quality of packaged and pre-prepared fresh food products. I'm John Kidder. I'm a product design and process engineer leading the revolution in food safety. If you're a processor or you're involved in the pre-packed meat products and are concerned about the health and well-being of consumers, please see me. Census, seeing is believing. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Judges, any questions?
very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
I just had a question about the revenue model and how you see that happening.
Sorry,
Revenue?
the revenue?
Yes.
Yeah, the revenue will be generated. I believe there's probably an opportunity for 4 points of intellectual property to be generated in this program, and it will be by commercialising and licensing that. We'll be providing the licensing agreements with the packers and the suppliers to retail.
Thanks, John. Just curious, would you envision the cost being passed to the consumer eventually if you're charging the supply chain?
Initially, the market will be the repackers, the packers and processors, because this is going then on to the retail chains. In Europe, they actually put up barriers against this type of stuff. I believe if we can get it into the packed product early, then it benefits them, because then they can support places like OzHarvest, Second Bite, and we reduce the amount of waste that's going out, which represents about 1/3 of all food products.
Right. And have you tested this using the material yet?
No, no, it's still in development. But what we've done is that rather than apply approach to try and cover every food type, because there's at least 4 different distinct food types, we're narrowing it down to one so that we can target more effectively, and that's generally meat products, because they're high value and they're high consumer demand, because we need protein to survive.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Please thank John.
There you go.
Okay, next up we have Adam Searle from Ethicus. Adam is going to be talking to us about a cryptocurrency that rewards organisations for contributing to a better future. Please welcome Adam.
Hello. I've got a lot of things to do. It's upside down. Get it the right way up. Here we go. Have you ever felt like the financial system is rigged against you, or that the house always wins? Do you wonder why it's so hard to get ahead while banks and big corporations seem to thrive? Imagine being part of a community that not only builds wealth, but does good for the betterment of all at the same time. A social study by Next25 shows us that Australians care about these important issues, such as healthcare, education, fairness, and the environment. However, only 34% of Australians say the government is taking future generations into account. Only 30% of us feel we can influence the future. 52% of the population, so more than half, is disengaged with politics. And only 34% believe they have a say beyond voting. So this tells us that people feel powerless and unheard. And this isn't just in Australia, it's a global feeling. So how can we turn this shared desire for change into real action? Introducing Ethicus, a cryptocurrency that's more than just money, it's a movement towards a better future. Think of Ethicus like a bank account where you put your money in, but with a special feature we call scalable incentives. This means as the community grows, so does our impact, and with it your Ethicus balance. Unlike a regular bank account where you earn interest, Ethicus increases in value as we meet community set goals. We start small, focusing on local projects. For example, our goals might include the success of a local wind farm, achieving statewide green energy targets, or advancing social equity programs, like providing training for lower socio-economic groups. As more people join us, we can tackle bigger challenges even on a global scale. A core group identifies potential goals aligned with the Ethicus mission, but we want everyone to have a voice. If you own Ethicus tokens, you can vote on these proposals that help shape and decide our direction. So you might be wondering, how does the value go up? So here's how it works. Upon creation, 90% of Ethicus tokens are held in a reserve. When we meet these community set goals, a portion of those tokens are burned. So this reduces the supply and drives up the value of Ethicus tokens that you hold, making each token you hold more valuable. If we don't meet those goals, instead, some of that reserve is sold, and then the funds raised are invested into initiatives and projects to help achieve those goals. The first question most people ask me is, do we need to mint billions or trillions of tokens to make a difference? And the answer is no. It's not about the number of tokens, but it's about supply and demand. You can own just a fraction of a token. This means they're divisible or fungible. If you take Bitcoin as an example, there's only about 20 million Bitcoins in existence, but its market value is huge. It's about 1.24 trillion US dollars. With Ethicus, we keep our goals realistic based on our reach and the size of the community. So to close this loop, Ethicus tokens are rewarded to companies and individuals who champion the Ethicus ideals. And then by owning these tokens, it's in your financial interest to ensure the success of projects that benefit everyone. As we reach our goals, the value of everyone's tokens goes up. So we're looking for people who share our vision and want to be part of something bigger. If you believe in our future and want to contribute to and benefit from positive change, we need you. I'm looking to build a small team, so we need collaborators, co-founders, co-developers. If you're a marketer, community builder, or just passionate about bringing people together, we'd love to have you on board. Any financial contribution is welcome. Your investment will go directly into development and building the community. We're aiming to raise between $300,000 and $500,000 from early-stage investors, offering founders tokens with special benefits in return. We think people like Simon Holmes à Court and organisations like the Bob Brown Foundation are the kinds of people we're aiming to engage. We think they'd be interested, those sorts of people. If you know anyone like this, or you're interested in meeting them with me, please come and talk to me afterwards. If you're tired of a financial system that doesn't work for you, it's time to be part of the change. Join Ethicus, a community where building wealth goes hand in hand with doing good. Let's reshape our financial system together. The power is in your hands. Thank you.
Judges, questions?
Thanks for sharing, Adam. Very interesting. How do you plan to sort of engage on the actions versus the value? Or do you see the network driving those outcomes? How does that work?
Yeah, so if it's a little bit of a chicken and egg question, I guess, but getting that early investment and using that funding to have these goals and then working towards achieving those goals. So the Ethicus early investors will be seeing returns when we meet those initial goals, and then as that proof of concept is shown and more people are getting interested and more involved, it's kind of this ball that will hopefully pick up steam as it rolls. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please join me thanking Adam. Gee, there's some variety in presentations tonight. It's fantastic. I'm in awe of many of these brains. Well, all of the brains. Okay, next up we have Santosh Wilson from Zen City. And Santosh is going to be talking to us about the one-stop solution for small and medium businesses. Please welcome Santosh.
Hello everyone. So I'm Santosh Wilson and I am a founder of FinTax. And today I'm going to present to you about Zen City. It's all about Zen City is a service which help small business owners or a founder who is struggling with a lot of tools and operational activity. So to overcome that, so we brought in Zen City here. So commit to Lord, whatever you do and your plan will succeed. So that's my presence of to keep the God in first place. So when I grew up in the childhood, like my father and my teacher always taught me like, be a good employee, try to learn things, get into a good corporate, you have to be like that. So that's the mindset I was into it. And pretty much that's how I grew up, and then I get into a good employee. So I got a lot of awards, get into new systems, and it's all about one single department I stick to is IT department. So I deal with a lot of technology stuff and then going like that. And then suddenly I was getting into a different thought process. Why don't we get into a business process? Like that's where I became a businessman. And then pretty much when I get into business, a lot of things in place. So I was trying to set up all the technology stuff all by myself. But a little bit, I thought, okay, I'll buy this product. What are the platforms available in it, like for setting up a HR or setting up inventories and setting up IT things, or everything. So I was looking at platforms available in the market and trying to set up all by own. But still, nothing has been working, and customizing in all myself, it's really a pain. So then I decided, okay, get into a new thing. So and still, I tried with so many higher-end brand products, which trying to fit into my own business, it's never happened. So that's where the Zensity is born. So I thought, okay, why don't we go with a model which we do a service rather than giving a platform to a business owners, trying them to feel hard and getting into it. Because a lot of small business trying to match with the bigger platforms which is available in the market, they're crafting into it, but pretty much they are failed to do that. So the same thing what happened to me, the small business owners are trying to do that process. So that's where we want to pretty much build a system, a platform along with the services. It should be a very simple and easy for business owners to go with it. And we take care of the entire operational process, and they can focus on their own business. So Zensity is a service. Actually, we want to bring all the modules, whatever the operational activities are happening inside the corporate, so we want to bring as a services rather than the product. It's a one-stop solution we want to create for business owners who is growing in their business, because they try to deviate themselves into an operational activity rather than focusing on business. So there are a lot of pain points. So what I mentioned earlier, like buying a complex softwares. So I heard many business owners trying to buy the softwares and just kept it aside. Then they focus on their business. So that's where I want to make a difference here, like give the different function point, cost-effective manner. And they no need to require any IT person to set up or to fix the IT issues into their premises. And the platform is very much flexible for them to use it without any pain. And we promise, Zensity promises, like we work for you and you can focus on your own business. So that's the mantra we've taken care of. And Zensity service model, actually, so I looked at it, Australian market is pretty much big in terms of zero code, low code, a lot of other platforms available like connectors, ETLs kind of available. But we are focusing around the market size. We are focusing 2 to 15 million in the market size. So that's where the business owners transforming from a small to scaling up. That's the reason, that's the market we are trying to attack it. So we come up with the pricing. It's very, very competitive in the market. Like we want to give, not to give as a one license, 2 license like that. They want to grow it. So we want to just give it 10, 50, and more than 50. So we came up with some option like start, grow, and scale. So that's the model we want to bring it in. And pretty much it will be very competitive, because I've met 2 clients recently, and we had a deal with them. So I understand the pain points last month, and then we customize their needs, because they don't want whatever the hundreds of modules are available in the platform available. They don't want all those things. They want only 2 or 3. So we implemented that, and we saved a lot of time for them, and we cut down 40% of the cost, operational cost for them. And then the 5 major takeaway from Zensity by using it is like simple and easy to use, and save big with low code, low cost, and pay as you go. See, it's very easy. Like we don't want anything like we buy and then we're not going to use entire suite of things. So we want only whatever is necessary for the initial stage to grow a business, that is mandatory to move forward. So that's where it's, and we want to give an ongoing support as the business grows. Zensity will be with them to grow in terms of technology. They don't need to worry about any updates or any technology change. And also we help them to fit into AI market so they can be relevant to the market and grow the business. And 100% business software partner. So we want to be as a partner with their business, and we take care of entire operations of their business. So if anyone who's struggling with the same kind of problem when in terms of operational activity, dealing with a lot of platforms and tools in operational level, so we are here to help you out. So we can chat and we can fix that for you. So this is my contact details. So I have put my LinkedIn details, and you can contact me anytime. And if you have any questions, I'm ready to go.
Thank you, Santosh. Very interesting value prop. In terms of you curating that product suite for your clients, what's that process like? Do you look at the products that are available on the shelf and then customize it, or do you create something that's just customized to them?
No, because the products which are on the shelf, we want to give a new flavor to the engine. So we create our own customized way of approaching it. Because we tried, when I was into a business, so that time I tried Odoo, Salesforce and all. It's not fitting in my needs. So then we created what is required to get the customer information and contact them quickly. And that's where, so we understand how the small business works. Based on that, we created a workflow and we giving to the clients. So it's our own workflow we are trying to set up.
Just to add on, how would you scale this as you add more customers on?
Yeah, so now we are trying to scale, like we want to create a specific account manager for each and every companies. So that's how it works, because when we scale up, we don't want to give the platform to the business owners to work with that. So we create, I want to create an opportunity, employment opportunity in South Australia. That's my plan. So I want to create all uni students to get into online, and then I can create account managers for each and every small businesses. They can handle it. That's the scaling I was trying to map.
Thanks, Santosh.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Next up, we have EcoQuest, the EcoQuest team, an educational experience in STEM for future generations. Please welcome EcoQuest.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to jump straight into our presentation. So, Shania, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sure, Hannah.
Do you remember a time in school where you were really, really bored?
Yes, I do. And coincidentally, it was in my science class. I remember my teacher rocking up, chucking a bunch of slides on the screen and just started talking at us. Did I understand anything or did I retain anything? That's a big fat no.
Well, I wonder if anybody else feels the same. Can you raise your hand if you remember a time maybe a while ago that was like this? Okay, interesting. We're going to talk a bit more about that. So our world is changing rapidly, which means that environmental education is more important now than it ever has been. Yet there remains a significant gap in the amount of effective and engaging STEM resources there are for educational environments. Traditional teaching mechanisms like lectures and textbooks fail to inspire our students and engage them properly. Teachers are then left with the difficult task of trying to engage without the right tools, and students are left feeling disconnected from their materials. This kind of early disconnection can actually lead to a significant pessimism for STEM fields when our society depends on those the most.
So in Australia, it's been recorded that 50,000 students are feeling disengaged in the classroom. Among those students, 27.4% of them are reported to feel either stressed, anxious, or depressed in the classroom. Many have said that they struggle to focus and that they prefer hands-on learning experiences. So without these tools, it makes it tremendously difficult for teachers to then teach students in the class, and it makes it really hard for them to inspire the next generation. But here we have
EcoQuest. Get ready to dive into EcoQuest, a captivating board game style teaching resource designed to teach students about ecosystems, habitat change and climate change. Along the journey of EcoQuest, students will explore exciting habitats from arid deserts to lush rainforests. They'll play as their favourite animals and try and save the ecosystems that they inhabit. They'll tackle a range of challenges from pollution to deforestation to climate change and have to strategise together and use their teamwork skills. EcoQuest is an absolute game changer. It incorporates real-world relevance with hands-on learning and your curriculum requisites all in one activity. EcoQuest sparks complex discussion points and encourages our students to be positive about their environment.
So why EcoQuest? Our team at EcoQuest has developed an innovative game solution that challenges traditional learning methods and teaching methods in the classrooms. Our users are primary school teachers, school administrators and curriculum coordinators, environmental educators, parents and guardians, STEM programs and initiatives, and after-school programs like OSH. Our EcoQuest has been designed from the Australian curriculum so it meets criteria for teachers, and our prototype has been trialled in a few classrooms already, and it has received positive feedback from both students and teachers.
There are not enough science resources for our teachers to use. OSH and school environments rely on activities that have children having fun while also educating them. The fact that EcoQuest blends all these things together seamlessly saves you time, effort and money. EcoQuest has been designed with simple instructions and a flexible gameplay that accommodates a range of classroom factors, including the amount of students you have playing, your time constraints and their skill set. You can tailor all the discussions that happen in EcoQuest to your year level. EcoQuest upholds classroom inclusion. We understand that every child should have their learning experiences. No child should miss out. EcoQuest accommodates these diverse learning needs.
So our team at EcoQuest, we have a very extensive portfolio with science and working with children. And that enables us to understand the struggles that teachers may face when trying to teach science to students. We have also listened to our students who have played our game, and we have implemented their feedback to now create a really exceptional resource for the students, but not only for them, for teachers to then use as well. The impact that EcoQuest has is that it will have a lasting educational experience on children's perception on their scientific and environmental learnings. It will teach them a variety of soft skills, and it supports our educators in fields that they may not specialise in.
EcoQuest is the perfect blend of education and entertainment. It sparks interesting, complex discussions, sharing, teamwork skills. EcoQuest sets up our future generations to have a positive impact in our environment. So join our mission to inspire young minds through play. Thank you.
Judges, any questions?
Thank you, EcoQuest team. That was amazing, and I love the presentation. One of my first questions is this sorry, I must have missed it. Is this an app or is it a real physical board game?
So it's like a board game type thing. Okay. This is a mini kind of prototype. It's something we were able to transport, but the regular one has big pieces that go on a table so lots of students can be involved. Yeah,
that's my main question, because if it was a small board game in a 30 class, it'd be pretty hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Any other questions?
That's very interesting. Thanks for sharing. Do you think of a product roadmap in the future after this? Do you like follow a specific curriculum or demographic group? How do you scale this?
Yeah, so our current, demographic group at the moment is primary school students, but since it aligns with the Australian curriculum, that covers years from reception all the way to year 10. So the great thing about our product is that the types of questions that can be asked during the gameplay can be tailored to different year levels, so that our kind of audience or our market is those children in those ages. So that can range from 5 to almost 15 years old. So yeah.
That's quite clever.
Fantastic. Please join me in. All right. Okay, 3 to go. Well done. Gee, there's some diversity here. All right, next up we have Ayan Sharma from ENSO. And Armand will be talking about revolutionising neurosurgical training. Please welcome Anyan.
Did you know that most of us sitting here today, we're going to undergo about 7 to 9 surgeries in our lifetimes? Now, that's quite scary. I mean, at some point in my life could literally be in someone else's hands. What's even more scary is that today, surgeons, such as neurosurgeons, well, they just don't have access to accessible, reliable, and personalized hands-on training. I mean, let's have a look at how our surgeons are currently training. So this is the most traditional method in which a trainee is essentially going to observe a consultant performing a surgery, and then they'll try to do the surgery, and then they'll try to teach it to someone else. I mean, they say that it takes 10,000 hours to master a skill. Is this really the best way to get to those 10,000 hours while also putting your patient's lives at risk? I mean, this is why today, more than 80% of neurosurgeons, well, they're going to face at least one serious medical lawsuit in their career. Whereas 12% of neurosurgeons, well, they're going to be facing more than 10 lawsuits in their career. Now, that's a pretty big problem. And fortunately, some people are talking about how to solve this problem, specifically through VR. I mean, this year in VR, healthcare in VR was valued at about 3.6 billion USD. That's about 5.2 billion AUD. And it's also got a CAGR of 24%. So it shows us that there is potential for us to solve this problem through this industry. And interestingly enough, a couple of companies are already trying to solve this problem. Let's have a look at a couple of our competitors. I mean, at first glance, it looks really good. I mean, looks like they provide you with an exceptional anatomical understanding. So what's the problem here? Well, the problem is over here. Now, believe me or not, but as a medical student who's been shadowing surgeons for countless hours, I've learned something, and that is that as a surgeon, it's just as important for you to have adequate muscle memory and hand-eye coordination. Now, do we really think that these little sticks provide our surgeons with the adequate haptic experience that they need to excel in their training? No. So how do we solve this problem? Well, we begin with a revolutionary user interface. Now, what is that? To answer that, we need to first step in the shoes of our trainees, and that's what we did. We went out and asked them what they need, and this is what we found out. They need 3 major things. Well, in a virtual reality environment, they need to be able to feel what they're training. When they touch something in the environment, they need to feel it at the exact same time, and they need to be in full control of their experience. And that is what we do. We combine these 3 technologies to create a training experience that will enable our surgeons to build a safe career that they can be proud of. But how do we do that? Well, we do this through this. Something that we've been relentlessly working on. Now, I must admit that my team and my mentors have been really fortunate to realize this early on, that every surgical procedure is unique, and thus every surgical training would require its unique set of haptics. So how do we overcome this big problem? Well, we have a grounds-up approach. So we look at commonalities between all of the surgical procedures, such as inserting a catheter. What our training system does, it provides our surgeons with feedback on resistance and force to ensure that they can have an engaging and realistic training experience. Moreover, our training system allows the surgeons to train without wasting any of the hospital's resources or even putting the patient's lives at risk. So, who's going to be our customers? Well, our customers are going to include the 8 major training programs in Australia, with our users being over 200 neurosurgical trainees per year from Australia and New Zealand. Now, since it's a multidisciplinary project, it's critical that we collaborate with other institutions. And fortunately, we've already begun discussions with institutions such as University of Western Ontario from Canada and Flinders University. And right before the presentation, we got some interest from neurosurgeons in India who would like to use this technology. Through this, we can ensure that we can work with other institutions to build a training system that would drastically improve training outcomes. So, to end it off, if we were to look at a typical Business 101 graph, we can see that traditional training, it's as realistic as it's going to get, but it's not accessible. Now, our competitors, they've tried to make this sort of training highly accessible, but they've compromised so much on the realism that it's essentially useless at this point. What we do is we build realistic and accessible training systems that are not only bound to improve surgical training outcomes, but also the patient outcomes for us and our future generations. So, if you know anyone who would like to partner with us in research and development, or if you or anyone that you know would like a future demo for free, please get in contact. I would love for you guys to be the first people to try this truly amazing technology out. And thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Can you tell us just a little bit more about how the robotic arm works?
Yeah. So essentially what it does is you can connect it via Bluetooth to different training simulators. And what it will do, it has two different modes of function. One provides resistance on the hand. So when you touch something in the environment, the actuators go off, which create resistance. That's one part of it. And the second part, which we're currently working on in research and development, is using actuators on your fingertips. So when you touch something, you feel it exactly on your fingertips. So it can replicate senses of pressure and resistance. That's all good.
Just a question about, are you designing just the hardware, or are you also doing the whole software, the VR as well?
Yeah, that is something that initially we had quite some trouble with. Initially, we just wanted to do the hardware, but we thought about it, that kind of be like Apple selling just the keyboards and not the screens. So we are also going to be doing VR. Currently in the team, I've been very fortunate to have my team member who's excellent and at the engineering side of it, and we're getting someone specifically for VR environment development next term. So we're very excited about that, because that means that we can integrate our hardware with our own software. Yeah.
Great. Please join me in thanking you.
Thank you.
Okay, our second to last, but definitely not least. This isn't quite. Anyway, I'll forget that I said that. We have our next presenter, Advyat Kandrapaka from Zeppel. And Advyat is going to be looking at helping Gen Zs achieve their financial goals. Please join me in welcoming.
Good evening. Firstly, my name is Advyat, Ad for short. And yeah, I'll take you through my product, Zeppel. So tonight I want to actually tell you a little story about my neighbor Charlie. So Charlie's 16 years old. He's born and raised in Adelaide, a huge Port Power fan. And he loves his dog Pebbles. So the other day I got talking with Charlie. And I said to Charlie, so what are you up to? And he had his first job at McDonald's. He was talking about it. And he said, now that I've got my first job, I'm going to start saving for a house. And I thought, really, Charlie? And he said, yeah. He said, have you seen the cost of living? He said, have you seen how expensive it is to buy a house? So you've got to start early, and that's the only way. I was really impressed by that. That sort of stayed with me. Right? Cut to a few weeks later, I run into Charlie again. I said, mate, how's your house coming along? And he said, well, not as great as I would have imagined. You know, I save up a few weeks, and then all my friends want to go to the port game. I save up another few weeks, and then Coldplay comes to town, and now iPhone 16 is launching. I don't see myself moving out of my mom's house anytime soon. So I was like, you know, I had the same reaction. I said, you know, how can we help sort of Charlie? Surely there's something out there, you know, online that can help him sort of get his day-to-day sort of goals, whereas keeping an eye on the big picture as well. So I went about on an internet search. Turns out Charlie's not the only one with the problem. There are 5 million people in Australia just like Charlie within that age group. ASIC actually did a survey last year and found out that 82% of these people feel the financial pressure. They understand the cost of living crisis and they feel that pressure. A large part of those people don't know where to start. They don't know anything about their finances, and they don't know who to trust. But 90% of these people actually want to do something about it. And 56% of those people actually go to social media. So I said, okay, let me go to the internet and see what's out there. So the first thing that came up was obviously all these budgeting apps. And there are heaps of budgeting apps. There are so many of them. They're hugely popular. They've got a large subscriber group. But there was one common theme among them, was that they tap into your bank account. They tap into your bank account and they analyze your spend and tell you all sorts of things about your money that third parties shouldn't know. So I thought they're quite unsafe. And then I thought, if Charlie has to earn a little bit more, what's out there that can help Charlie then? And there are obviously things like AirTasker, TaskRabbit, all of these things. But again, although they're hugely popular, they're not intuitive. They don't actually tell Charlie the information that's precise for Charlie. It talks about all the other things that are out there, but not specific to Charlie. I said, okay, what about investments? What exists there? Can that be a source? And again, I found apps galore. Huge uptake again. But again, just stock standard. Here are the top performing ones. Here are the not so top performing ones. Nothing that can be tailored to Charlie per se. A lot of people I heard then go to social media to get their fix. So I said, let me go to social media and see what's out there. But again, everything I came up with was just opinion-based and not fact-based. And that's why we came up with Zeppel. So what is Zeppel? Zeppel is a recommender app, right? It's an app that helps you get to your goals quicker. And how do we do that? We do that by giving you customized solutions to help you earn better, to help you spend lesser, and to help you invest better. So we do not hook into your bank account. We do not tap into your social media. We don't do anything under the radar. We give you information based on the information you give us. So how does this all work? We'll start with finding out a little bit about yourself. This is the information that you tell us. Based on that, we'll ask you what your goals are. Your goals could be something as small as buying an iPhone or something as large as buying a house. Or it could be both. Based on that, based on the personality that you've just described to us, we predict certain goals that you may have in your subconscious. Like if you're a Port Power fan and the footy season starting, chances are that you want to go to a game. If you're an Apple person and iPhone 16 is launching, chances are that you want to buy it. So we predict those kind of goals for you. We give you a work back plan. We say, this is when you're going to achieve each of these goals. If you're happy with the timing of each of these goals, happy days. We put you on a tracking and make sure that you stay true to yourself. If you're not, we give you the ability to adjust. Now, what does adjust mean? Adjust means you can either lower your goals, or you can say, I don't want my iPhone in March next year. I would rather have it December this year. So fine. If you need to do that, how can we accelerate your movement towards your goals? And we do that through recommendation. And again, recommendation comes in these three forms. You can either earn more, you can spend less, or you can invest better. So if you are someone who's passionate about dogs, just like Charlie was, an earning option for you could be walking someone's dog, right? And things like that. So there will be options that are suggested to you based on your personality. And we keep giving you these options until you're satisfied with it. Once you're happy with the options, say happy days, we select an option and off you go. So that's essentially how this product works. Now, where we are currently is at a very pivotal stage. So we're sort of past the prototype and the design, and we're now ready to take flight. So we are looking for collaboration. If you are someone in the tech industry who works with fancy, suave AI integrations, we need you. If you're someone within the finance industry, you can help us with domain direction, we need you. If you're someone in academia and who's grooming the next generation to take flight, we need you. Thank you. That's right. So if it's a banking app connecting with your own banking account, that's fine. But there are so many spending applications that I had which are third-party applications. And with third-party applications, which are free apps, you can never trust the data because it's always them making money on your data. That's the whole business case for those third-party applications. So while we recognize we're going to be a third-party application, the intent is for us to continue being transparent with the information that you've given us and to maintain that information securely. That's right. So from an engagement point of view, we will try and gamify this as an experience. So I know TikTok, for example, has something called a streak, where you continue to sort of exchange data and not put a streak at risk. So we'll probably try and do something like that so that we keep the youth engaged.
Fantastic. Please join me in thanking you.
Thank you.
Okay, our 11th presentation. We've saved the NDIS piece to the last. Please join me in welcoming Strawberry Sauce, who will be talking to us about helping NDI stakeholders with generative AI. Please join me in welcoming Strawberry Sauce team.
Imagine a platform that enables people with disabilities to access the supports and services they need simply by having a conversation. A simple dialogue that enables their needs to emerge through care and compassion in any language, any time of day, anywhere in the country. The NDIS is in crisis under a cloud of corruption, poor participant outcomes and fraud. Is forecast to cost the Australian taxpayers $50 billion a year by 2026. $12 billion of this will be spent on helping participants understand the complexities of the system. Supporting 660,000 Australians, this scheme will cost us more than Medicare. The government commissioned an independent report last year into the NDIS, which found that the scheme is not sustainable without major reform, providing 26 major recommendations to bring the scheme back on track. We've heard countless stories of despair, describing the NDIS system as horrible to engage with. Take Sarah as an example. Sarah's husband had a stroke that left him with a functional impairment. A colleague of Sarah's suggested that she reach out to the NDIS to see if they could offer some support. Even though she had years of experience in the healthcare sector, she found the process traumatising at a time of significant uncertainty and discomfort. And it's not just the applicants and the participants, practitioners as well find the interactions with the scheme cumbersome and inefficient, struggling to provide the necessary evidence for genuine needs. Last year's review recommended development of fairer but more complex pathway frameworks and better forms. But we believe the NDIA is, if the NDIA is serious about breaking down barriers, more complexity and better forms is not the way. We know there's a better way, and we have a better way. My name's Nick Hart, and I've been working with my colleagues for about 5 years now. In that time, we've brought to life various technological solutions from robotics and drones to traditional and generative AI. We believe our success stems from our diversity of experience, knowledge and capabilities, not only in developing technical solutions, but bringing people along the ride. Our latest venture is Strawberry Source, a startup focused on demystifying and democratising the power of generative AI, cutting through the hype and creating custom solutions that enable people, not replace them. They say the best tools are the ones you don't even know you're using. Our platform leverages a mixture of generative AI capabilities to guide users through the complexities of the NDIS through the power of conversation. Having a deep contextual understanding of the NDIS, our platform engages users to create clarity. Clarity of participants' functional needs and goals. Clarity by developing a tailored plan to achieve their goals. Clarity on how mainstream, foundational and NDIS supports can help. No jargon, no forms, anytime, anywhere, in any language. Our market isn't just the 4,500 new applicants each month or the 660,000 participants. It's the millions of people in the NDIS ecosystem. And as the scheme evolves and integrates with the foundational and mainstream supports, the market will only continue to grow. We believe that our platform will provide sufficient ongoing support for a broad user group to validate a user-pay subscription model as an early revenue pathway. However, the Department of Social Services has budgeted $20 million over the next 2 years to support navigating the NDIS. We believe our platform should be at the core of this, funded by DSS or NDIA directly, via the ongoing subscription model or acquisition. We have the building blocks and the solution expertise to develop our platform, but we do need some help. We're seeking to partner with undergrad or postgraduate students to collaborate in user experience, design and development, building human-centred interfaces with novel, cutting-edge generative AI integration. We believe our platform would be a very good fit for a number of grant avenues to assist with funding that development, but we need some guidance to help find them. And finally, the NDIA has been clear that co-development and collaboration is vital to getting the NDIS back on track. We're seeking opportunities to partner with existing organisations in the industry to maximise our chances of success. If you think you could help with any of these, we'd love to have a chat. We're Strawberry Sauce and we want to transform how the government supports people with disabilities. You can reach us via the details on screen or follow the QR code to our website. Thank you.
Judges, any questions?
Just a quick question. How does it interact with current platforms out there like iPhone, Kindship, those current NDIs?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So what we're trying to do is provide the user themselves with the interface so that they can create the right words to input into those platforms, because those platforms still rely on all the forms and jargon that's necessary to interact with the NDIS. What our system does is able to consume all of that jargon and information from the NDIS, turn that into natural language, and then allow the user to use natural language to interact with it. Out of the back end of it, it then turns it back into the jargon so the NDIS can understand it. Not replacing, certainly working with, but yeah, the difference being that we're able to actually use natural language, not NDIS language.
That's very exciting. Do you see integration opportunities there?
With other platforms? It's a really good question, and we don't know right now because of the massive reforms that are going on. I mean, the legislation was only passed very recently, and the actual changes are only happening in a couple of days. So we don't really know what the future looks like in terms of what the industry is going to look like. We know that things like support coordinators are basically not going to exist and going to have to morph into something else. So we are a little bit ahead of, I think, where we need to be able to make those decisions. But by being where we are and hopefully integrating with some of those existing industry players, we're going to make sure that we're well positioned.
Fantastic. Please join me in welcoming. Thank you. Well done. Okay, now it is over to you. In a moment, I'm going to whisk our judges away. We're going to come to the jury vote. Before we let you loose in the area for some nibbles and drinks and to go and ask any of our participants and presenters further questions, we want you to vote. We're going to give you 5 minutes to vote on your people's choice. If you just bring out your phones, pop in the slido.com website and type in that number. This is where you'll be able to vote. Someone will come round and say release, not quite. As soon as you're voted, please do head out into the foyer area while we adjudicate and we hear the thoughts of the judges before we come back and announce the outcomes. But before we do that, can you all join together in thanking our participants who have worked solidly and hard for weeks on weeks to get to this point. And I think if you saw what I saw, the development, the maturing of ideas from when people came in the door to what they presented tonight has been a fantastic achievement by all our presenters. Please join me in thanking them all. Okay, so judges, let's be whisked away. Everyone else, vote, chat to each other, ask more questions and enjoy some refreshments in the foyer. If everybody wants to make their way back into the room. Not trying to pull you away from conversations and collaborations, connections, I'm trying to think of another C, innovation, collaboration, coordination, no, that's not quite the right word. Which one? Cooperation. That's hard to say at this time of night. All right. Before we get to the winners, because don't you love it when people do this, we're actually going to be awarding all our participants with certificates and a small gift to thank them and congratulate them on a job well done. Like I said before, what you have achieved in 7 weeks is amazing. Seeing how you've gone from an idea to presenting confidently tonight and hearing people talk about things that they truly believe in and are committed to, that's what we love to celebrate. And so we're going to be celebrating that now. We're going to ask each group to come up, each individual and each team to come up individually. I'm going to rely on... Who am I relying on? I'm relying on Ellen. I often rely on Ellen to...
Announce the names.
Perfect. There's the instructions. We're going to announce the names, we'll give certificates, stand and take a photo, move off the stage, and then we'll get to the winners. It really is, but we'll make it shorter than a graduation ceremony. Although it feels like it's probably been a bit longer now, but we'll get to it.
You can stay there so we can take a photo with you. Okay. Which way are people coming from? Okay, people are coming from... the first ones are coming from here. So alphabetical order, and then teams together. So alphabetical orders, I'll be calling them to receive their certificates. So Adam Sarah from Ethicus. Yes. I get to do this. I'll stick it around. Adam Schmachkov. And also, you can choose one of the books here. We have Loon Shots and The Diary of a CEO. So you choose one, and we encourage you to pass it along once you read, pass it to other people so that they can all enjoy the reading. Come closer. Advait, or Ed for short. Come choose your book. Andrew Barry. Ayan Sharma. Bob. Wait, oh. Kathy Cotton. Now the strawberry team, Emma, Nick, and Muen. T-shirts now as well. Well done. Congratulations. Sorry. Thank you. Well done. Come closer. Well done. Thank you. John Keeter. We're just mixing it up. Thank you. Now we have EcoQuest team. Hannah, Jaden, Caitlin, Kirsten. And Shania. Sorry, one of you is not here.
That's okay. Thank you very much.
Anna? Yes, that's okay. Thank you. Santosh. Yes, have everybody chosen their books and yeah.
Just a reminder for the participants, if you didn't grab a book, to come and select either The Diary of the CEO or Loon Shots. These are two books we've chosen specifically for you in this next part of your journey as something to hopefully keep you inspired, to extend your brain, and also take advice from some of the best leaders, particularly from the start of the Diary of the CEO book. Okay. I didn't move the slide on, but I have now. All right, we're going to announce the jury award first, and then we're going to announce the People's Choice. So I'm going to ask Jo to come up, and she's going to share the deliberations and conversations that were had in the jury's discussion. Thank you, Jo. Please welcome Jo.
Thank you, Verity, and thank you everyone for making time today and sharing your exciting ideas with us. While I have the mic, there's going to be a session on funding options. That's the next part of your journey. Feel free to find me and talk about it. This was my plug since you gave me the mic. I got chosen to announce today because I decided to come dressed in Flinders golden color. So I am on brand. We've actually had a very, very interesting discussion, and all of you made it extremely hard for us, which is an amazing feat to achieve in just like a 7 to 8 week program. So good effort on that. It's been amazing, and we've been blown away with the quality of innovation and the depth of ideas that you've been able to come up with. After much deliberation, our jury award goes to Enzo. Oh, I do?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Angie and Jane, would you like to join for a photo?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to steal the mic for another 10 seconds. Since you made it really hard for us, we do have a surprise announcement. I'm going to leave Verity to make it in a bit.
We're going to announce the People's Choice in just a moment. But before that, the judges did deliberate for a long time over a number of the presentations and the ideas. And it came down to the decision to actually award an honourable mention to a group or an individual, one of the two. Whoops. No. Or did I just say that to get you off? There was an honourable mention, and although we can't offer the prize of the jury award, we are offering 6 months space in with MBI, where we will work with the honourable mention to actually connect them in with continued mentoring, connect them in the ecosystem and start to connect them to help make their idea realised. And the reason why the honourable mention was selected was because the potential to reach a group of people that often in startup world we don't think about as regularly as others. So without further ado, I'm just remembering the name now. It's the Eco team, the student, the group who'd actually came up with the board game for students. Congratulations. Fantastic presentation, and we actually really, the judges in particular were really impressed with the potential reach and adaptability in a schools program, and what an amazing opportunity that would be for schools, and particularly for students that don't get access to the types of interactive learning that you've presented. So congratulations. And you come and see us afterwards, we'll tell you how that honourable mention works. But as important as the judges and the jury's choice and the honourable mention, it's actually you, the people. Suddenly I was going to go into a Donald Trump voice then, but I stopped myself just in time. It's you that voted on who you thought was someone or someone. I've really got to get around the individual and group thing, and a presentation and proposition that touched hearts. And that's what really comes down to with People's Choice. So I'm just going to ask Ellen to pass over the trophy for me. And the winner of the People's Choice, Kathy.
Fantastic.
Okay, we're getting a little bit like the Logies now, so let's wrap it up. In a good way, that wasn't in a bad way at all. Before we do wrap it up, I do want to just, could you join me in thanking our judging panel again, Jane, Jo and Angie. Thank you again to our mentors, to our supporters, to our sponsors, to all those who have been involved, and particularly the participants. You have done amazingly, and it really was a hard decision. There was not a light conversation that was happening in that room, and hearing Angie, Jo and Jane just deliberate over who and what took a long time. This is the most advanced I've seen some of the presentations in ventured on for a while, so I just want to congratulate every single one of you. You've done an amazing job. Please do not stop pushing forward your ideas. If we can continue to be helpful, we want to be helpful. If anyone in this room wants to reach out to any of the participants to help them along, we encourage you to do that as well. But this is not a solo effort, it's also a lot of stuff that happens in the background that we just want to, I want to personally thank the NVI and the Entrepreneurial Development and Growth team. They have been tirelessly working behind the backgrounds through the 8 weeks particularly, but all the lead up and also today. But there is one person in particular that's been doing a lot of the behind the hour, lots of extended hours, a long time. So please join me if you could, and thanking sincerely Ellen for all her work in getting this to go. She's often the first one in and the last one to leave, particularly on Tuesdays. Okay, well that brings us to the end of our evening. We have a small thank you gift for our judges. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please keep in contact, keep following the pace and the place where a lot of our participants are headed. There are some exciting brains we have here in this state. There are some exciting brains and collaborating interstate as well. And we look forward to welcoming you again in the not too distant future to celebrate another round of fantastic ideas this state can produce. Enjoy, thank you for coming, and thank you again to our team. All the participants, we'd like to have a big giant group photo up the front as well. If you could come down the front, please.